Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. You're watching On Top and Hot Live, where we're going to talk about hot penny stocks as we normally do, but this time they come from you, not me. So if you got any questions, talk amongst yourselves, please. So where the hell are we right now? This isn't the way we normally start, is it? No, that's because I've still got some options. Oh, bloody hell. Look at how high she jumped. She did not come underneath that 200 the way I was expecting. Nope, she really pushed up hard there. All right, I didn't want to have to take a loss. Now, in case you didn't know this, folks, I don't know how many of you out there play options, but on the SPY, the Q, the Russell, ones like that, you get up till 15 minutes after 4 o'clock to trade options. So you don't have to exit at 4 o'clock. You can actually hang around a little bit longer and see what goes on. And ouch, this did not help me at all. Now, right now, we're just 1 minute into it. So I could sit around here. Now, one thing I've learned the hard way is if you've got contracts that are in the money over here and it goes past 4 o'clock, the marketers will step in and they will actually sell your option for you because they think you forgot about it. It should have been sold already. And if you don't sell it, it's going to be exercised. And that happened to me one day by accident. I had an option that was out here and I left. I thought it was $2 and I didn't even sell it for the $2. And somehow it made money in the next 15 minutes and was down here. Well, when I woke up the next morning, I had something like $50,000 in my account. Wasn't my money. I didn't know where it came from and I freaked out. So I called up Thinkorswim, which is Schwab, and they said that a option had been exercised. And the only thing I could do was buy $50,000 worth of SPY stock to equal it. So I actually made a purchase for $50,000. Woo! Biggest purchase I ever made in my life. And it wasn't my money. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Yeah, I didn't actually sell them, did I? No, so I'm going to get over here and sell these bad boys. 1, 2, 3 of them I got. So pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. What? I didn't take them. Let me try that one more time, folks. I need to get rid of these so nothing crazy happens while I'm not looking. Yeah, October 269. Yep, that looks right. I don't know what's going on. It ain't letting me sell them. It says something about a split and it's not being reflected. There ain't no split on the SPY. Okay, this will be something I have to come back and check out later. Yeah, I moved my camera. I didn't mean for my face to be so tight in there. I can't even get all my beard up in there, but you didn't come to see the beard. But the problem was with my camera way back there, I was coming off as a ghost. I was really coming off too bright, and I had to find some way to get some of the light out of the picture. So we had to suckle my face right up into the screen. So I apologize for that. All right, enough of all that. I wanted to mention something in case this was on your mind. We're in the middle of a government shutdown right now. And a lot of people are freaking out thinking this is really going to cause the markets to tumble. Folks, I've been through quite a few of them. There have been 20 of them since 1976. The biggest one was between 2018 and 2019. It lasted 35 days from December to January. Honestly, folks, the rest of the country goes on unless you've got checks coming from the government, unless they're paying you money, you're not going to be really affected. You're not going to notice. It's not like the garbage doesn't get picked up. It's not like planes quit flying and the trains quit going. Everything keeps working because these are covered by states and cities and counties, not by the federal government. It's what the federal government pays for. And our market, the federal government don't pay for squat. So our market doesn't care. So it just keeps chugging along. As you probably noticed, since the market locked up yesterday, the SPY and the Q have just been running hard, really hard. All right, so we've got some tickers all lined up for you. That's what this is all about. You guys give them to me early. Gives me a chance to get the due diligence done, which I do my best at. During the day, I'm trading I'm also over at Penny Boys running that momentum page where we're trading hot trades all day long. And on Thursdays, I'm doing due diligence on this show in the afternoon. And like last week, I am coming to this show a loser. I am down over $200. That last couple of options there just added on to the top of it. I think I'm down $230 today. Not a happy camper. Yeah, I can recover that, but that's not the freaking point. You know, I was doing good in the morning and fumbled the ball a lot in the afternoon. You don't fight the SPY. When it climbs slow, when you see the Q and the SPY climbing real slow, that's power. Don't be looking for running fast surges. Those will come down fast. If it's climbing slow, that could be all freaking day. It does that. Get a cheap option and just let it sit there all freaking day. $36, $40 option and see where it ends up at the end of the day. Probably made you some good money. All right. Speaking of making some good money, hello, everybody. Kashira, good to see you here. Scott. You know, I'm wondering if you're the Scott that was over on the momentum page with me. You know, Scott's a pretty common name, so I got to ask. I'm kind of curious here. But I noticed you said FUG UFG, but then cleared things up. You were talking about a different stock. Yeah, it hurts to lose money, especially when you know you could have done better. Anthony Fields, great to have you here. Hope that answer helped. Dino Trades, where you been, dog? I know, I just got back. Glad to see you here, buddy. Yeah, you brought me a bunch of tickers. We hope to get to some of them. Hello, Kiki. I appreciate you helping Velmore out there. I went running around looking for information on UFCI. I couldn't find anything on the OTC markets. I mean, nothing. The ticker doesn't come up. There's just nothing there. Or Stock Titan. It doesn't come up. There's nothing there. All we know is that they completed the merger. And yesterday in the afternoon, they were halted, and there's supposed to be some news coming out, but it isn't out yet. It's not FINRA stopping them. It's not the SEC. It's the company. Until they get this news out and everybody's had time to digest it, whatever it is, they're going to stay halted. So it's not a bad thing. It's just frustrating. We're hoping it's a good thing, right? They just finished their merger. And you know what? I get this feeling they may have done this on purpose, because after a lot of SPACs do mergers, the stocks normally fall really hard. They go from $10 or $12 down to $1, down to 75 cents, and it looks stupid, and there's no reason for it really. So if you interrupt it, oh, we got news. Stop it from falling. You don't know what's going to happen the next day. It could be a ploy. So we're going to watch it and see. All right, enough of all that. Let's get to business. God dang. Got everything lined up here for you. Yeah, you got to go through all that silly stuff. Okay, you can see me. I can see you. First one we're going to take a look at comes from Dennis Panulo. I got that right, didn't I? Panulo. It just sounds right. What a name. Dennis Panulo, glad to have you here, buddy. He's brought us TNGMF. Obviously, this is on the OTC market. That F at the end means it's a foreign company, in case you didn't know that. This is TGX Energy. Not a lot to look at here. This isn't going to take too long. This is a Canadian mining company. Super duper low trading volume. And folks, when I say super duper, I need more supers. I mean like she's traded 3 or 4 days out of 3 or 4 months. Yeah, really, really low. And the only information I'm going to be able to share with you, honestly, I've got to go to Google to get it. There is nothing here. There are no filings. There's no news. It's a blank page. I looked at it and I'm going, what does Dennis want from this? I get the feeling maybe Dennis holds this and, whoa, get back. And he's hoping that I'm going to find some light at the end of the tunnel for him. I can't do that. I know I'm called the wizard, but I really don't have any magical abilities. So TNGMF. This is a foreign company out of Canada. It's the least foreign you can get, right? The company finished today just about at 9 cents with no trading. I don't see any trading. We got 0% movement, and I do believe that was 0% movement today. She is on the Pink Limited tier. Pink Limited means that she is late on some financials. Maybe one, maybe more. I don't know. I can't see. There's no information, so I have no clue. If they don't get these filed in time, they'll go down to the expert market. Now, when will that happen? It's kind of strange here. They've got this thing called, oh my God, what do they call that? I forget. You get this little yellow warning here, 15-day warning. It's something like that. It says 15 something. When you see that, you can come over here to overview, I believe it is, and right down here, it'll actually tell you, down here, it'll actually tell you what day they are leaving the OTC market if they don't have their financials caught up. So that's the hot water we're in right now. And I can't give you any more details because, one, we don't have any news over here to share. We don't have any disclosures. None. No financials, no filings. That's what you get with pinks. But they're not called pinks anymore. They're OTC ID. And if you fall off of the ID, you go down to pink limited. So this is the only pink you're going to see, and it's bad. So we've got no information here. What was the relative volume? Absolute zero. For this month, average over the last 30 days, 247 shares. That's it. Share structure. We get something here. We've got just a little over 11 million shares, which isn't bad. The insiders don't own a lot, and this is pretty current. This is October 2nd. It was updated today. So they own 90,000 shares. That's it. All the insiders together, I don't know how many there are. Could just be one. Could be 20. I have no clue. They own 90,000 shares. We get all the rest, which isn't bad. We get 11 million shares. 10 million is where a low float starts. Anything under 25 million, I consider a low float. And anything under 100 million is okay. So that's looking good. That's about the only good thing I can see. Market cap, we're under $1 million. Financials, we got nothing here. So we don't have any financials to actually look at, and we don't have any numbers to look at. No matter where you go, you don't get anything. So as I said, the only thing I had was to come over here to Google, and I did want you to get some information about this company, right? Something. And I actually asked the AI. I hope it brings up the same information for me. Basically, kinda. TNGMF is an over-the-counter listed Canadian company that explores for and develops natural resource properties, particularly colored gemstones like emeralds, sapphires, and rubies. We don't talk about too many mining companies that are after jewels. They're always after some precious metal of some sort. The company was previously known as True North Gems and was incorporated in 2001. They work with basic materials and other precious metals. I do believe they had a list here. The company changed its name from True North Gems. What mines? I do believe they've got a couple of mines here. I was kind of hoping that it would give me a list of what those mines were. True Blue Property. That has 303 mining claims on it with precious metals and minerals up in the Yukon Territory. They've got a lot of different properties here. You can see that. So we're not going to dive into all of this, but they do have a lot. What are they doing with any of it? Your guess is as good as mine. There's little information, and I didn't have time to do a deep dive, and I'm not sure how much you'd get even doing a deep dive. But that's what we've got to consider right there. And that's all the information outside of the chart. So let's go take a look at that chart. Let me grab this up so I don't forget it. You guys with me? TMG is not a penny stock, Dennis. What? Who says? TNMG is not a penny stock, Dennis. TNMG. Do I have the wrong ticker? Ah, I see it. I see it. TNMG. Oh my God. Well, that's good to hear. Well, it is a penny stock. TNMG, 33 cents. Heck of a lot better than that last one. Boy, there was nothing going on there, folks. I'm glad I got that other computer up here. I can see all that. Sorry, Travis, my bad. Sorry for all of you. Makes a difference, doesn't it? I'm sure you've all had the wrong ticker before. Okay, so let's try to dive into this since I've had no preliminary due diligence. Let's see what we've got. This is TNL Metagene. Finished today at 33.5 cents, up about 10.5%. She is on the NASDAQ, which is a hot penny stock on a major exchange, which is better than the penny stocks on the OTC. First off, trading on the major exchange is normally free. You don't have to pay when you buy your shares or sell your shares outside of the buy price. Transactions are free. You can trade in pre-market, aftermarket. You can never do that with OTC stocks. And let me tell you what, folks, when a stock is hot, you see some of the biggest runs you will ever see aftermarket and pre-market because there is no halts for volatility. When a stock starts to run, it just runs until it runs out of steam. So you can get some hot runners in there. There's also a lot more money and a lot more volume on the major exchange, which is what we as traders are always looking for. And there's a lot more rules, which is what we need. Keep the companies honest. You know, down there on the OTC, it's decentralized, like the blockchain. There's no one overseer watching those 200 different brokers. And each broker's doing its own thing. And it's not all right. And it makes it hard for investors to know the game and how to play it. But when you get up here onto the major exchange, the rules are in concrete. They've got so many rules to follow. It's definitely better to be trading penny stocks on the major exchange. So what have we got here? This is a company from Japan, Tokyo. I like Japanese companies. All right, this is Asia's next generation digital media and data group. Publishes 22 media brands in Japan and Taiwan, as well as other Asian markets, reaching upwards of 40 million unique users a month across business, news, technology, sports, and lifestyle content categories. Wow. Among its market-leading brands are business leaders in Japan, and then they name a bunch, which we're not going to recognize. The company also operates proprietary advertising networks. Of course they do. Anybody that works in any media works in advertising. And I'll tell you what, if they have free and they have paid for subscriptions, they make more money from the free subscribers than they do their subscriptions because they make more money off of advertising than they do selling their subscriptions. Been that way for a long time. Look at Facebook. They don't ever charge to be a part of their group. And they're one of the richest companies out there, right? Just from advertising. So what was the relative volume around the company today? Boom. She's up from 4 million to 62 million, 12, 15. Yeah, you know, that's way up there. 10, 12, 15 times her normal volume. Share structure. Not bad. We're not exactly at the low float point, but I'm not going to complain about 26 million. And we probably have some insider shares from these Japanese insiders. They know what they got. So they're going to own something. Subtract that from the outstanding share count. That's our float. We're probably under 25 and I'm loving it. That's not a bad float. Market cap, just under 8 million. What are they making? It's all about the money. Show me the money. All right, over the last 3 years, yeah, we've gone from 20 million to 48 million. That's a huge jump. That's more than doubling their revenues. And their profits climbing fast, going from 7 million to 17 million. Quarterlies, we didn't get any of those, but they've got them. They're just not showing up here. Balance sheet. Remembering, we got to add 3 zeros to any of these numbers on these charts. We've got 3.6 million in the bank. That's their cash and cash equivalents. Total assets were at 92 million. Total liabilities, 56 million. So we're holding stockholder equity. We get $36 million. That's for all of us to divide up amongst those shares. There's what? Well, 25, 26 million shares. Divide that into $36 million. That could be the price of the stock. That's over $1, right? Think about it. That's one way to figure it out. There's a lot of ways to do it. Disclosures. All right, let's see what's got this company moving. This is the 2nd of October. We haven't had anything filed since the second week of September. Establishing their digital asset treasury. I'm sure we're going to get news about this. Assets limited to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, the 3 most established digital assets out there. So let's go take a look now at the news and see what we've got going on. Lots of news here. Let me get a quick scan here. working their media around to 1 billion Mandarin speaking people. That'll kick it up from 40 million a month, won't it? Announces new AI powered content marketing initiative in Japan. Yeah, now they're going to get AI writing their articles. I mean, this is going to be big business for them. It's going to be easier. I think it's going to put a lot of their employees out of business, actually. Announces digital asset treasury advisory group appointments, putting people in place to take care of this new digital treasury. Publicly files digital asset treasury strategy presentation. Maybe take a quick glance in here, see if we get any numbers. The DAT strategy presentation can be found below. Guess you got to dive into another site. Let me dive back out of here. You notice how they changed the print? It used to be dark black. Now they've gone to this light gray. I'm really not liking it. Haven't been able to fix it. Announces appointment of Web3 investor and technologies Koki Ukalama to digital asset advisory group. So they got a lot of people coming in right now. Appoints a veteran journalist, strategy announcement. All right, let's get this update here. Last piece of news. This came out today. The company announces that Zidar and Company published an update note highlighting the company's recent digital asset treasury strategy. Historically, TNMG has used disciplined merger and acquisitions and integration to build scale and efficiency. The DAT strategy now adds a balance sheet dimension aimed at enhancing flexibility for future acquisitions and improving long-term resilience. All right, they're going to have a plan here. You're going to want to dive into it. And this is just me repeating what I've been saying over and over again. Since Trump made digital assets legal assets, not only are companies just adopting them to take over as part of the cash. You know, you have so much money in the bank that's only getting 3% interest. That's no big deal. But if you go buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, like me, I had Bitcoin. I got rid of it. I put it all into Ethereum. My reasoning was, well, I want it to double in my lifetime. I figured Bitcoin would double. It'll probably quadruple in the next 5-10 years. But I think Ethereum will go 8-10 times in the next 5-10 years. So I put it all in Ethereum. Well, wow. I bought Ethereum at 2,900, and I think it's over 4,000 now. So it's like gone up 80%. That's what happens when you put your cash into crypto. Your cash grows faster. But that's not the only thing they're doing. They're just not investing into crypto. They're using crypto as leverage to make deals with other companies, to buy shares. I mean, they're using it as cash to do all sorts of things now. And different cryptos have different values and support different ecosystems, which means there's a lot more due diligence now to understand what your companies are doing if you're long-term investing. If you're scalping, if you're day trading, you're looking for Momo plays, momentum, doesn't matter what you know. Half the time, I don't even know what the news is. All I know is it's climbing or it's falling. And I know what I want to do in either one of those situations. And that's really all I need to know for scalping and day trading. But for long-term investing, you're going to need to know a wee bit more than that. All right. I do believe that covered everything here for TNMG. I hope I did that good. Let's go take a look at the chart. Whew. I really did not want to look at that other chart, so you saved me there. I didn't want to look at this either, except to say that it never came underneath the 200, did it? So I didn't miss anything there. So let's get over to our charts. We're going to be bringing up TNMG. Looks like it's getting some aftermarket activity there. My timestamp right there shows me trades that are happening right now. If I see stuff, it means it's happening. Yep, 1224, it's happening. So what have we got here? Let's pull this chart back to a year. Yeah, get an idea of our 52-week high and low. Okay, everything looks kosher here. Looks like she came on the market December 6th. TNMG, just a guess. I could go back 5 years and see if that changes. It does not. So she came on the market December of last year, and it looks like she hit a high of $34.08. Though it was very short-lived, she was hanging around here at about $20.50 for a few days, right? Then she fell away down to $14, dropped down to $6, fell down to $2.50, and then just dribbled very slowly month after month after month, all the way down here to 25 cents, which we hit September, just hit that September 25th. And off of that, looks like she is trying to climb a little bit. Boy, we can't see much, can we? Matter of fact, let me come down to that 4-hour chart. It's going to make a little more sense. Maybe. All right, so we've got a big jump here. Everything is falling. Everything's coming down. Everything is underneath all the MAs. We had a big pop here that went from $2.60 to $6. Good money maker that day. Short-lived. Right back down to 20 cents. Wow. And right here, we have got ourselves a 200 squeeze. Here was our 200 haul. It's purple right there, which means it's falling. Right there, it turns up. It's climbing. The price is under the 50 while this is climbing. When the price got on top of the 50 while the 200 haul is climbing, what happened? Match to the fuse, folks. Launch to and through the 200. You will hear me say that so often you think I'm a broken record, but I say it because it makes money over and over again. When you see the price get on top of the 50 with the 200 haul underneath and the 200 MA coming down, that's a 200 squeeze. Just squeezing the hell out of that price, and it doesn't like it. And it normally jumps up over top of that 200, but it doesn't keep jumping, doesn't keep climbing, because normally the 200 is falling. You don't have a breakout on a falling 200. If you stay up too long, it'll come down lower than where it started. But if you just jump up and come back down, you're not going to get punished. And that's exactly what happened here. She went all the way up to $1.06 from 30 cents. That's over 300% run. And she bounced up that aftermarket, pre-market, and the next day. Came back down to the 200. Again, we took another bounce right off of that 200 at 60 cents up to $1.31. Over 100% run. Now, folks, these are pretty much parabolic plays. If you go look at these charts daily, when it's going up like that, it's going straight up. Always sell when a stock starts going parabolic. It's got nowhere to go but down after it goes parabolic. So find the door, put on your parachute, and jump. Take your gains. Don't even leave anything in there. Take all your gains, let it come back down, and buy in cheap. You want to get back in, buy in cheap. But don't leave anything in there, because it's going to fall back down. This came all the way back down to the 200 again. And look, the falling 200 has now gone flat right there. That's when you can look for a breakout. That's when we look for it to start running away from the 200 and not coming back down for a bounce. And what happened? She took off. She went from 50 cents again up to $1. That's another 100% run. But this one took about a week. About 5 or 6 days, hit her high, back down to a rising 200, and she went underneath it. Now, normally you would expect this to come back up. All of our MAs are pushing the price down, so it can't do anything until those MAs roll around. They're rolling right here. You can see our 200, our 50 is rolling. The price is rolling with them. It has no choice. Now it's going to try to break out when it gets close to the 200. Fell away, but look at these jumps. This is a nice stock. I like this. When you see pops like this, just out of the clear blue, going from, we're going to call that 30 cents to 90 cents. That's a 300% jump. 300% jump. Here's another one going from 31 to 60. Okay, 100% jump. These are beautiful. This is while she's falling, she's taking these jumps. So this is a nice stock. Even though she's falling, she's having jumps, it looks like every 10 to 20 days. If you're patient. For a day trade, I don't know. She seems to be in a downtrend. She's underneath all of her MAs. She is still falling. She is in a 200 squeeze setup. If she could get that price up on top of the 200, or not the 200, the 50, you can see she's trying. And every time she tries, what happens? Look at the size of that bar when she tried. Look at the size of the bar when she gets near getting on top of that 50. She just can't do it. Once she gets on top of the 50, you get these huge bars, and she starts to run to and through the 200. And that's what we're looking for right there. That is a perfect, take a picture, folks. Perfect. Falling 200, price under the 50. 200 turns up, 200 haul, the price gets on top of the 50. Bars get big, to and through the 200. Once she breaks out, expect her to fall back. Under the 200 is not a bad thing. It's normally going to come down to the next MA and bounce again. It did. It came down to the next MA, which happens to be the 9, and it's bouncing. Solid bar above the MA is good. This is looking really strong, folks. Let's come on down to that 30-minute. She's coming around. We've got ourselves a change of trend. She's flat right here. I don't know why she wasn't breaking out, but she's pulling up now. Now our 200's climbing. All of our MAs are pushing up, but we have had a pullback after this rip. Going from 30 cents up to 40 cents. You got yourself about a 25%, 30% rip right there. She's coming back down. I like the fact that this stock bounces a lot, and she bounces anytime. We got bounces pre-market, after-market, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day. You never know when this stock is going to jump, and it's not a bad price. Right now, we're at 31 cents, which seems to be a pretty average price. You know, we were looking at a lot of those jumps. They were all at 30 cents going up, 30 cents going up. This wouldn't be a bad entry for a pop and drop. So take your gains. When she starts going up, don't get greedy. You see she likes to come back down to 30. Get back in when she comes back down. There you go. TNMG. Woo! All right. Take a breather. Need some caffeine. Get my face a little back. Sorry about that. Let's see what you guys are talking about over here. Hello, am I late to class? Yeah, well, you missed what I was doing wrong. You know me, I'm always doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. That was redemption. Yeah. Trading at $34 before combo complete. What? Was it really? Was it really? I didn't check that out. I mean, if I'd have gone back. Oh, right, she had a new ticker. Well, yeah, that's what I needed was the old ticker. The old ticker, we could see what she was doing before. All right. Looks like you guys are in control over here. I'm cooling off. Yeah, don't worry about it, Mark. You're good with me, buddy. Better late than never. Yeah. You know, I love it when people bring me late birthday gifts. I do. Why should you feel guilty bringing me a late gift? You just extended something I thought was all over. Yeah, another one. Woohoo. Nothing wrong with a belated gift. I love them. All right, let's jump back into this, folks. I've got another ticker for us all set up, and we are ready to jump into it. We're going to take a look now at the underdogs pick. This is ticker CRCW. This is BTC mining and blockchain. The company is expanding into crypto assets. Well, they're already a crypto company, but at least we can say that. They were a crypto company before cryptos became legal assets. They were looking for Bitcoin. That was what they were doing. Now they're expanding into other things like everybody else, because now everybody can be a crypto company. Anybody can be a crypto company now. That's just the game we're in. Low daily volume today. Very high outstanding share count. There was a 13G filed today, which is a new investor coming on board. We'll take a look at that. So we're looking at CRCW without the dollar sign. All right, CRCW is on the OTC ID, which used to be called the pink. Don't be confused. You don't get a whole lot of information down here on the OTC IDs. What you get is hype and a couple of green ticks over here if you're lucky. These green ticks are actually being done by the OTCmarkets.com. This is their site. It's their job to actually monitor these companies, and it's their business. They are literally a company on the OTC markets. You can go look up OTCmarkets.com. I don't know what their ticker is. OTCIQ. There it is. And you can invest in them. And this is their business. So they check these companies out. They've given this company a verified profile and a verified transfer agent, which are normally the only two pieces of validated information you get with OTC IDs. That is to say, there's no filings. You don't get anything. Well, you get disclosures, which you could call financials, but they're just the management telling us how much money they had come in and how much they spent. But there's no auditing. We don't even know the numbers are true. I'm not saying they're not, but we just got to take the management's word for everything, including all the hype. All the press releases that come out from the management, and they'll talk about some magnificent stuff that'll have you drooling. Let me tell you what, folks, I've lost like $40,000, $50,000 trusting news presses on the OTC Pink, which has now been changed to the ID, maybe just so they don't look so dangerous anymore. So this company, as I said, is in the business of Bitcoin mining and providing consulting services and education for blockchain, teaching people what blockchain is all about. They are based here in the United States, California. Finished the day at 008. They were up a wee bit, just a little less than 3%. Coming up about, oh boy, about 0002. Didn't come up very much, but then they're not very expensive. Now, the company is listed as a shell risk. It's yellow. Yellow is a warning. Red is bad. Just anytime you see dots over here, red is bad, yellow is a warning. Shell risk. A shell company is a company not in business. So they're not making any revenues. We're expecting an acquisition or a merger. We're expecting something to happen. That's not a bad thing. It's normally supposed to be a good thing. Shell risk, though, means we're in business. We're doing something to make money. We're just not reporting any. Well, that's a little weird. Well, a lot of these companies are shell risk because they've made deals with other companies and they acquired some assets in that deal. And once they acquired assets, a new rule that they put out on the OTC markets claims that you're in business. Once you have gotten assets, you're in business. And if you're not actually in business, selling anything or having any services to render, where are you making money? You're not. So you're considered shell risk, which makes you look bad, but it's just a dysfunctional truth, if you ask me. So let's get some information here about this company. Looking at the relative volume, it's about half of what they've been doing, less than half. They've been doing about 55 million shares a day as an average over the last 30 days. Today, they only did about 23 million. Share structure. They got a lot of competition now, don't they? These crypto companies had a sector all to themselves. That's gone. Outstanding share count. Holy Toledo. Look at that, folks. We are looking at 4 billion shares. Wow. And they have 19 billion shares they could put on the market. Now, you can do a lot of things with the shares. They don't have to go on the market. The company gets that money. Anytime they put shares on the market, they get money. Now, what do they use that money for? Whatever the hell they want. I mean, they could be buying a building or they could be paying for vacations. They can do whatever they want with that money. It goes to them. And these shares contribute to our shareholder value. Now it says they own 1.6 billion shares. That's a ton of shares for the insiders to own. That makes me feel pretty decent. We get 2.4 billion. So they've got about 2/3 of what we've got. That's pretty respectable. It doesn't look bad. What it does tell me, though, is that we must be leery of a stock split, a reverse stock split, which is going to take all your potential for gains away because they're going to take your shares away. Right now, we're at 008. This is a little scary. When a stock gets hot, when it's getting attention and it's running 2, 3, 4 days, and it's just taking gains, if they have a reverse stock split voted on and approved, it's sitting in the arsenal silently. You don't know it's there. It's been sitting there for 8 months. They had it approved to be used by management at their discretion anytime they want. Now, they do have to give us a 5-day warning. They're going to do a reverse stock split. But I've seen 3 days, and nobody slaps their hand for doing it. So when you get up to a penny and you have been running for 2 or 3 days, expect a reverse stock split to just slam out there. Boom. And when you've got this many shares, holy hell, folks, this could be like a 1 to 250 reverse stock split. So you'll get one new share for every 250 shares you own, and the price will go up 250 times. But here's the problem. If you're down, let's say it's at 008 and you are down 3. No, down at 005. So that's 3 notches, 3 points you're down. Well, you've got to multiply that by that 250. Now your little itty bitty gap just got huge and you're way down here and you've lost all your freaking shares. So now your average, though the price may be up at $12, your average price is $120 per share because they took all your shares and you were in the hole. So you're way, way down there. And that's how I've lost so much money. Reverse stock splits steal your money, especially if you're down on them. So be very careful with this one. If you're holding it for long term, be very careful. Go through. No, as a matter of fact, forget the 8Ks or the 6Ks. Just go over to Google, put in this company's name, put in their ticker, put in the word split or reverse split consolidation. See what comes up. See if they voted on it. Even throw in the word vote. That's worthy of knowing before you lose all of your money. Promise. Let's see. Our market cap right now is at 32 million. Are they making any money? I always wonder about these Bitcoin companies. They're not selling anything. They're not giving a service. I mean, I know they're teaching people about blockchain, but they really make money doing that. They're making money from however much Bitcoin goes up. And isn't Bitcoin going down right now? Last time I looked, I think it took a pretty hard fall, a couple thousand, a few thousand. So they could be taking a hit right now. Well, their revenues are way down. Whatever they're getting money for, they've went from 434,000 down to 44,000. Quarterlies, they made a whole $4,000 the last 3 months. Whoa. Balance sheet. Oh, come on. I would have thought a Bitcoin mining company had Bitcoin, right? And shouldn't that be worth something? Or are they losing money? So cash and cash equivalents, Bitcoin would be an equivalent. We've only got $4,000. Total assets is what they got in the bank. That's it. $4,000. What? But we've got $7.3 million in stockholder deficit and liabilities. Yeah, it's deficit. I knew it was because there's only $4,000. Folks, we're paying for this company. Whatever it is they're doing, we're paying for it all. Their paychecks, we're paying for it. Their vacations, their electric bill, we're paying for it. This company isn't doing anything. So I'm not quite sure what's to get excited about. Let's see what their disclosures in their news says. All right. We've had a new investor come in. These SC 13Ds and 13Gs are filed whenever a new investor. How come you're not bringing this up on board? Okay. This is Urim Mark Andrew. He just got himself 674 million shares, which is 16.4% of the company. He is now an insider. That's what this Form 4 is. He's become an insider. He now owns 16% of the company. Now, I can't remember which it is, but there are 13 Ds and 13 Gs. The D and the G is a difference. One has a voice and wants to have a say in what goes on. The other one is a silent investor, doesn't want to have anything to do with what goes on, just want to give you the money and have you make them some more money. Then we've got an 8K here. Yes, what is all that about? Entry into material definitive agreement. All right. This should have been highlighted. I don't know why it isn't, but I remember highlighting it. As of September 23rd of this year, the company executed a subscription agreement in which the company agreed to sell to these investors 165 million shares of common stock for $661,000, as well as 43,000 Bitcoin. So they got $661,000 and 43,000 Bitcoin. That paid for 165 million shares. Right? This is getting interesting now. The way companies buy shares using different types of crypto, and you got to figure out, well, how much was Bitcoin worth on that day? And oh my God, this is becoming very confusing. But they just acquired a whole bunch of Bitcoin. They just got some more money, and they put out some more shares, 165 million. News. What's got this stock moving? Not that it's moving fast and hard, but what's got it moving? Well, back on the 15th of July, they moved on to the OTC ID. Now, I don't know if they came from Pink Limited to get to the OTC ID, because they say that you have to file something to get on there. Well, where are you sitting? Where's the purgatory if you're not on the OTC ID? The only other one is the expert market, the gray market, which your stocks aren't being traded, or Pink Limited, which means you're looking at the door that says exit. You're about ready to leave the open market to go to the gray or the expert. So I don't know where they were before they came onto the OTC ID, but there they are. Then you've got all of this stuff where they're bringing on new chief officers, people involved with crypto, bringing a lot of new people in because they're changing the game. So they need new players. As of August 21st, the company initiates multi-asset crypto treasury, now including Ethereum, XRP, and Avalanche, along with their Bitcoin. I don't know a whole lot about any of these. And then the newest piece of news, which is not new at all, this came out August at the end. The company appoints Rob Nail and Edge of Company Inc. as strategy advisors, strengthening commitment to the convergence of AI and crypto. Okay, well, now we're talking AI. That's the first time that word's been tossed into the realm. Seems everybody's involved in AI. Everybody's involved in crypto. Holy cow. But I don't see any recent news here. And the recent filing, well, if it's running, it's because of that big investor right there and maybe that deal there where they acquired some BTC. Outside of that, we got nothing going on in the news. So let's go take a look at that chart for CRCW. CRCW, 30-minute. Roll this back to a year. Nothing going on for a year. We hit a real low of 0005. That was all the way back in December of last year. Didn't go far, and I know you can't see it. Let me see. I'm going to try to just zoom in on this area right here. So that's what was going on. She was working her way up in the barcodes. When you're in the triple zeros, you just go to the next 000 and the next 000. There's no middle ground. And you stay there just bouncing like that. And that's what it looks like. Barcodes, picket fences, until she breaks out. Can you see the breakout here, folks? Isn't that beautiful? So she was going sideways, started pushing up right there, showing she wanted to get up. She's pushing towards that 200 as it's coming down. She's inching her way over it, slowly climbing. All the MAs are crossing the 200. Now's when you got to start watching it. Now, this is a month of watching. She is just sitting on that 200. But what she isn't doing is falling. That's what's great here now, folks. She has actually gotten on top of the 200 and is not falling. Now, she could sit there a real long time, but she's made a change. And when a stock changes, you need to watch it for a little while to see if it does more changing. This did a lot more changing. She jumped here from 0008 all the way up to, woohoo, God, 0094. You're looking at 1,100% run. Parabolic. Got your parachute, right? Yeah, you sewed up there and jumped. Come all the way back down. Now we're back down to 002. That was a huge, huge, huge fall, folks. She is way above that 0008, and she is climbing, floating over that 20-day MA. She has pushed up to a super high here of 1 penny now. She has come back down, and she is at that 008, sitting right there, folks, sitting on top of the 9-day. This is jumping and bumping off of the 9. This looks like she's stair climbing right now. This is looking pretty good, actually. She's got my attention. Now, this is only for short trades. I'm not talking about long trades. Most of the time, I'm not talking about long trades unless I specifically say so. So right now, I'm just liking the way she's bouncing higher and higher. So we're looking for bigger bounces, right? That's what's going on here. So I expect this to come down to the 20, bounce, and maybe go up higher, just the way it's looking. Let's come on down to our 4-hour view. Let's look at the 1 hour. So here, our 200 is rising. The price was coming down to the 200. We hit a low here of 004, let's call it. She skidded across the 200 and she's starting to climb again. From that 004 to 014. That's 300% run, folks. 300% run. Back down to the 50. Now we're down to that 008. She is still at 008. Now everything right now is pinching. You've got a 200 at the top. You got a 200 at the bottom, and you got the price in the middle. Is that a 200 squeeze? It actually is. And with this 200 climbing now, it's an inverse, and it's going to give you the same. It isn't falling both two 200s in the opposite places. You have the 200 climbing. So if this can get back up on top of that 50, we should see this thing rip through this 200 and start to climb again. Our oscillators right now show a little bit of heat. They're trying to warm up, but there's nothing hot there. Everything is more sideways than anything, but they're not falling. That's the key ingredient here. Last one we'll look at is the 5 minute. Look at that volatility. We went from a penny hard down to 008, boom, down to 007, and then back up to 009. She's really bouncing a lot through here. With that 008 being the middle ground she is surfing on. And here comes that 200, and she is right on it. So I think the stock has potential to bounce. But again, it's like the last stock. We don't know when these things are going to bounce. And you can see she's actually in a downtrend. Everything is rolling, bouncing downhill. So when you get into these sort of stocks, you've got to be in and out so quick because her bounces are so quick, so short-lived. So all I can say is if you're playing these stocks, get your supports and resistances out there, folks. Know where these stocks are. No, that's not it. Know where these stocks are going to break and fall. That is the only way I can trade. I would have no idea where this stock was going to go if it wasn't for supports and resistances. This is where the stock bounces and changes direction. And I can see she's been going sideways right now. She gets over top of this one, I may get in right there at 009. That's where I'd get in, and I'd ride that up. Now, right here isn't a bad spot, but I'm not going to get in just sitting there. It has to be climbing. I just don't get in and just hope that it doesn't fall. I want it to be actually going in my direction when I get in. I never, ever buy on a red bar because a red bar is falling. I could get a better price. Why buy on a red bar? Look at the lines. Lines are rolling over right now. All these lines are coming down, every single one of them. So I expect this to come down. Is it going to stop here? I don't know. It could come all the way down here. So we're watching it, folks. I would not get in until I know what it is doing. It has to break one of these two. That's all we're saying. Get out of that channel. It's been locked in, consolidated, accumulated. All right, I'm going to just fly into the next one here, folks. Have you guys said anything I need to? When will WDHI start trading? Oh, my God. Here, I think I can actually get that up without coming over there. That right there. Folks, WDHI was over 2 years ago that HNRC, which is not HNRC, they changed their ticker to another ticker. It's an oil company. They spun out WDHI, World Diversified Holdings Incorporated, and they gave everybody restricted stock. And nobody really caught that it was restricted, which means you can't do squat with it until we unrestrict it, and they haven't unrestricted it. When will it be unrestricted? When they get that company on the market. When is that going to happen? I don't know. Been over 2 years, and they keep saying it's about ready. We're so close. It is just about ready to come out. And it never comes out. People have quit asking me about it. So that's the first time I've heard about it in quite a while. All right, back to the tickers we've already got lined up here. Let me get rid of that. I can do that. Bink. There you go. All right, we're going to take a look now at GNLN, which is a cannabis company. This is, I do believe, a Canadian cannabis company. Let me make sure here. Yeah. No, my bad. It's U.S.-based. This is a U.S.-based cannabis company, super low float, which is kind of interesting with a cannabis company. Revenues have been falling really hard over the last 4 years, though we are still holding positive shareholder equity. They did just come out with their financials, and the best place to look at it, I think, is over at Stock Titan, which is what we're going to do. Now, the revenues have fallen hard. Green Lane was doing really good. They were doing about $500,000. They're really, really down right now. We can look at that since we're talking about it. Maybe not $500,000. They were at $166 million back in 2021. Right now, they're down to $13 million. And as you can see, profits have been falling. The problem right now is, folks, especially here in America, because it is still federally illegal. What is growing in every single state stays in every single state. That's the problem. Every single state is getting choked on the marijuana that they are growing in every state. They can't get it out of the states. And now, since it's been legal for so long, there's too much marijuana. When the first dispensary opened up in my neighborhood, an ounce of marijuana was just shy of $500. What? I can go to my dealer. He's cheaper than you guys, which is what I was doing, right? Well, now my dispensaries, for $100, I can get everything I need for a month. I can get an ounce of marijuana. I can get 5 vapes. I can get a little bag of edibles for $100. And it's like, oh my God, is everything cheap, 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 cheap? Well, how are they making any money? They're losing money now. Everything is falling. We need to get the borders opened up so Michigan marijuana, California marijuana can go to different states. Hey, I got an idea. How about export? How about sending it to other countries, because other countries are going legal as well? Do you know how much money we're missing out on because the stupid government won't let it be legal so we can start selling it to the rest of the freaking world? Man, I am so upset about this. I lost so much money. I was in cannabis from 2018 until COVID. And you know what? From 2018 till COVID, it fell. You know when it stopped falling? When they made cannabis an essential business. Why was it made essential? Because it calmed us down during COVID? No, it made sense because it made money. You could sell it standing on the corner. Somebody came up with this as an idea. Just stand on the corner with your bags of marijuana and people can drive up and you can just give it to them and they can drive away. Since we have COVID, this is a great idea. Dude, we've been doing that forever. That's the way you sell drugs. Well, that is the way they did it during COVID, and they called it essential business. And that day, it jumped and it started climbing from that point. But at this point in time, all the mergers are done. Lots of them have gone out of business. Prices are falling. Laws aren't changing. The world's moving on, and the USA is suffering. Now, once they change these laws, the USA is going to change drastically. First off, they're going to deduct taxes. They don't get any deductions right now, folks. Do you know how much it costs to run a cannabis business and they get no deductions? Oh my God. Every state they're in, MSOs, multi-state operators, they have to have facilities. They have to have a place to grow it. Greenhouses, they have to have a place to produce it, package it, places to sell it, dispensaries. Every single state. Redundancy. Imagine if Coca-Cola did that. Had to put up a facility, a factory in every state they sold Coca-Cola in. Are you stupid? Nobody does that. And that's what cannabis is having to do. So when the laws change, I expect there to be a lot of consolidation within the companies themselves, get those tax breaks, and boom, watch them financials flip. Watch money start coming into the green because they're being treated like businesses instead of guys standing on the corner still. Whew, boy, did I get into that or what? All right, so finances, they're down to 13 million annual. We might as well go through this. Look at that. Look at that. Just over the last year, they're falling from 2 million a quarter to 4 million and then down to 788,000. What's up? Something's weird here. Look at that. Cost them $786,000. They only got to keep $2,000. This isn't looking good, folks. This is looking really desperate, as a matter of fact. And I haven't done a deep dive, but this is a lot of drastic change, all going the wrong direction. Cash and cash equivalents. Oh, we went up, way up, and now we're at 5.7 million in the bank, which isn't bad. 31 million in total assets, not bad. 11 million in liabilities. What would you believe we're actually holding stockholder equity? We got about $20 million we're actually holding in this company. And how many shares do they have? Wow. 1.3 million. And what was the asset count in that again? I want to go over here quarterly to the balance sheet. We had 11, wasn't it? 20 million, and we've got less than 2 million in the shares. So yeah, I'm going to call it a million because I'm going to figure the insiders of this company have at least 300,000 shares. So 1 million, you're looking, oh my God, folks, that should be a $20 stock. Based on equity, it's $20 million in equity, and we got 1 million shares. 1 million into 20 million is 20. That's a $4 stock. It could be up to 20 right now. Based on that, that's incredible. Market cap, we're at 5.6 million. Financials we looked at. What's going on with this company? Not much. Not much at all. We had a financial come out. Well, gee whiz, that's way back. I thought this was a newer one. That's all the way back in August. And I was going to go take a look at it, but I didn't realize it was so bloody old. Everything was actually getting worse. They're making less money. They're putting out more money. It's costing them more money. Things weren't looking all that great. It wasn't drastically bad, but you could see everything was still inching in the wrong directions. Not real exciting in that case. What was the relative volume around the company today? Really down there. On the NASDAQ, shoot, we're doing 94,000 shares a day over the last 30 days. Today, we only did 77,000 shares. Disclosures. I don't think we covered that. An effect. An effect is real short. It's going to be 2 sentences, right? Boom. What that is the gun. They just started an offering. They just did a public offering. It just went live. That's what that is. S3, how many shares? There you go. Now, normally the red, subject to completion September 5th. Normally the red means we're not doing it yet. We're just warning you. It's going to happen sometime, but get ready. It's going to happen. So this happened. It's $200 million worth, but it looks like it is, what the heck a shelf offering. That's when you sell a little bit of everything. They're selling some Class A common shares, so our outstanding share count will go up. They're selling some preferred stock, which is for insiders, selling some depository shares, which are shares a bank holds. They're going to be selling warrants, which are coupons to let you buy shares sometime in the next 3 to 5 years at a real cheap price. They're going to be selling rights. Rights are coupons that allow you to buy shares in the next 3 months really cheap. And they're going to be selling units. Units is a package deal where you get a share and a warrant, or maybe a half a warrant, or a few warrants. But it's a package deal, comes together. And then down the road, they split them and you can sell or buy each one of them separately. So that's what's going on there. Now let's go take a look at the chart. Gee whiz. Dun, 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 dun. Back this up to a year. It's not been a good year. Not at all. Oh, yeah, she's had a reverse stock split at some point in time. I don't know when she had it. Trust me, I don't see a bubble down here, and I don't see any words saying we are in a split, but that high is too high. That's just shy of $4,000. $3,975. No. So somewhere in here, I don't know where, could have been more than one. Let me teach you something. Let's say they have 2 splits, a 10 and a 20, a 1 in 10, a 1 in 20, different times. Behind the last one, go all the way back so that they're in front of you. You have to multiply all the prices by both of those splits multiplied together. A 1 in 10 and a 1 in 20 is a 10 times 20. That's 200. You got to multiply every number. That high would be multiplied by 200 if they had two reverse stock splits. And you'd have to divide every single number on the chart by that 200 anytime you wanted to understand what the real prices were. Now, I have no idea how many stock splits they've had. I have no idea how big they were, but that explains why the outstanding share count is so low. So somewhere back here, they had a reverse stock split or two, and we've been in a downtrend ever since, whatever the high was. And we hit a low here. I think we can trust this low of $2.84. We did that in July of this year. I'm just going to come on down to our 6 month, something we might be able to see. Not much. Wow. Look at these falls, folks. Gosh, that's still $1,300. Big fall right there. Then a trickle downhill. Big fall right there to a support I've drawn. And then we've got a Fibonacci here, which I'm going to try to zoom in on because obviously it means something. Okay. There. Get out of there. Jeez. Too many boxes. Too many boxes. Get rid of all of these. There we go. Whew. Wow, look at that fall. Okay, so we had that huge giant fall right there. Whatever the price was, it says it's $200. Coming all the way down here to $5. And then once the 200 MA caught up at the price jumped. We get that right there. I'm going to zoom in on that. So right here, boy, look at that 200 coming down hard and furious. Now, I'm going to get rid of that Fibonacci, but you can see why we had it there. Clear that. Clear all that. Boom. Wow. Look at that. 200. It's an angle. An angle. That is so rare to see. You don't see that. Once that 200 got close, the investors were so happy to see it get there. They were running towards it 2 days before it got there. They were running here at $3.60. Once they hit the 200, they were already at $7. And then they shot up here to $13.61. So happy to see the 200 finally get here. After that, she came down to the 200, bounced off of that. We're getting some activity here. She came under it, grabbing her senses again. All of our MAs are falling. That's why she's under the 200. She's now having to roll with them. They're all coming up here. She's riding them up. She's up to the 200, which is actually still falling. I know it looks pretty flat, but that's falling. And the price knows it's falling, so it's rejected. Comes back down to our other 200, very strong as this 200. And what we've got here is a 200 squeeze that isn't playing out. We got the price on top of the 200 underneath the 50, but she can't get on top. There's our 50. She's on top of it. And we did have a breakthrough. She could have broke out here. She tried, didn't quite make it. We have a lot of fight going on here. This should have broke out right there, at least a breakthrough. Not a breakout because the 200 is falling. But she was on top of the 50. The 200 haul had turned up, and she was in between both 200s. That is peculiar. But not 100% of them break out. But 8 out of 10 do, which is a strong probability, which is why it's my favorite bullish pattern. So right here, we've finally started to break out after she's been going sideways. We see some bouncing, but nothing really going on. She's still kind of doing that. She's actually showing a little more strength now. She's been up over the 200 for a few days. Everything is climbing. The 200 is starting to push up, but the price is coming down. Everything down here is pushing down or flat. So we don't see any heat building up. We need some heat if we're going to make any predictions here. We're just going to have to sit and wait. So our 200 is climbing. That's what I'm taking notice of right now. 200 is climbing. All of our MAs are over the 200, pushing up and climbing. Price was over everything, came down, bouncing off of our 200 haul and our 50. Put those together, 250. 250. That's stronger than that 200. So I anticipate, I believe it's going to bounce right there. That's very, very strong. It was bouncing on the 20 before. Yes, it's going to bounce here. Right now, we can see it's actually taking that bounce. She's getting on top of the 50. 200 underneath her. Anytime the 200 haul is climbing and the price is up over it on top of the 50, you're going to see heat. We got heat right there coming into the picture. We should see this jump up onto the 20, and hopefully that'll give us enough push to give us another run here. Our oscillators, everything's a bit even, Steven. Everything's kind of planed out right now. Jumping down to our 5-day, 5-minute, we've got a change of trend. She's coming up. We have our other MAs rolling downhill. She's in a fight now. Anytime she takes a jump to a high, you're going to have a dip, which is going to roll your MAs over. You've got to go through the ebb and flow, right? Ebb and flow. So just watch that. She's rolling kind of even right now. She's looking like she's thinking about coming back up on top of the 200. We're watching it right now. I personally would not get into this until she got up on top of all the MAs. It's a fight. If you get in anywhere in here and she's still got to go through the 50, still got to go through the 200, you're sweating it, right? Why sweat it? Just wait. Pay for the insurance. Right now we're at 391. Better to get in at 405, 410. If she's going to climb, you're going to get gains. Don't worry about getting the cheapest price. The cheapest price is not the best price. The best price is the one that has the least amount of frustration, the least amount of risk. That's where you want to get in so that you can get out without sweating it and just take your gains. A bunch of small gains in a day can make you nice money at the end of the day. Here recently, I've been doing about 15 to 20 plays a day, between $10 and $30 a trade. Not wanting to stay in them very long. I'm tired of getting frustrated. Today, I got frustrated in the back part of the day. I don't like that at all. But they're only small trades, but I normally make from $190 to $200, $300 every day, just doing 10 to 20 small trades. Oh, here's $10, there's $20. Don't get greedy. Just take what you can get. It's like a kid in a candy store. You can get away with a lot of candy if you just take one candy bar at a time. Don't rob the whole store. All right, let's come on back. See what you folks are talking about. Is GLNN making money? Yeah, they are, but it's not a lot. I mean, you can go check out their financial. Yeah, they're bringing in money. They're making a profit. They are making money. It's just becoming less and less and less money. They're going downhill right now, as a lot of American cannabis companies are. Right now, they're suffering. I don't know if this is going to be a good time to get in, because here's the problem, folks. We're waiting for the laws to change, and we don't know when that's going to happen. When that happens, any cannabis company in America is going to be a deal. It's going to be a deal. That's my opinion. Don't quote me on it. But right now, the way I see it, all cannabis companies in America are working with choke holds on them. They are struggling to keep their heads above water. The market's gotten so tight. They're beating each other up in their own states. They need to get out. They need to spread their wings and fly. They need to get out of their nest. And that's the only problem with cannabis companies right now. So if you like a cannabis company, keep your eyes on them right now. There may be some real good buying opportunities as they're struggling before the law changes, whenever that is, and then they explode. I'm talking about American MSOs, not the Canadian companies, not the ones over in Europe. These right here in America. Did you talk about Duff Fly? No, we haven't talked about Duff Fly yet. I don't know if we'll get the Duff Fly. What time is it? 5:14? Holy hell. Damn. I'm not going to get the most of the stocks. All right, I'm getting out of here. We got another stock we got to go look at. Bloody hell. All right, we're looking at OPTT. OPTT, folks, we have talked about this one before. I'm quite familiar with OPTT. This is Ocean Power Technologies. They make powered buoys. They've got a Form 4 that just came out, which is really all I saw. No, I don't want to do that. So let's jump into this. The company makes these powered buoys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I can show you real quick. I don't know why their website isn't listed there. Right there. So they've got these powered buoys that generate power in lots of different ways. They get them from wind. You can see the little propellers. They get them from solar. And then they got these wave generators. Just this paddle underneath. Every time it gets beat back and forth, it generates power. And this power is used for all sorts of communication bases, whether it be for satellite communication, 5G, 4G, to planes, land, submarines, boats, whatever. Then you've got these manless boats that have equipment on them as well to do whatever you need them to do. Maybe you're doing scientific work. Maybe you're using them for security and got guns on them. I don't know. AI is now connecting all of this together, and they're all working in sync. When this electric manless boat needs power, AI knows what to do, just backs up, puts out an arm, and it plugs in the water, plugs in and gets power, and then goes back to whatever it's doing. So that's what the company is doing. And as far as I know, there is no other company in the world that has power buoys. I have not found one, not private, not public. Now, maybe there is, but I have not seen it yet. The world is covered in 2/3 water. That's a lot of area. And every country on the water is going to want security, right? I'm not talking lakes, but maybe lakes too. Who the hell knows? Maybe big rivers. I don't know. But these can be used by anybody for anything, and they're getting a lot of business right now. And I'm very excited about this company for long term. I'll say that about this company. I believe this company is going to do excellent long term because there's nobody else out there doing it. They've got first mover advantage, and they're doing a lot more. They're working with these companies that have these big windmills out there in the ocean. They work with them gathering power and all sorts of things. You need to go read up on their site. There's lots of stuff they're involved with. So they finished today at 52 cents. They were up 2.3%. Hot penny stock on the New York Stock Exchange. What was the relative volume? Yeah, just down a little bit from what she's normally doing. 4.7 million is an average over the last 30 days. Today she's at 4.2 million. Share structure. Average, nothing to get excited about, nothing to complain about. Outstanding share counts at 183 million. I don't know what the float is. Subtract what the insiders own. I'm sure they own something in this company. That's going to give you your float. But it won't be over 183 million. Market cap, we're at about 93 million. Is this company making money? They better be. Yes, they are. And it has been growing every year for the last 3 years, 4 years, jumping from 1.7 million to 5.8 million. Starting in deficit, climbing all the way up to 1.6 million. They put out a lot of money, but that's hardware. That's a lot of equipment they got to pay for, a lot of people they got to pay. So yeah, they're doing okay for the business they're in. Quarterlies. What happened there? So their revenues are bouncing around, kind of like a buoy on the water, but their profits have fallen into the negative numbers. We're down to minus $23,000 after doing $1.2 million worth of business. That ain't very good. Balance sheet for the company. We got about 10 million in the bank, 36 million in assets, 12 million in liabilities. So we are holding stockholder equity. We got about $24 million in this company. It ain't a bag. Take a look at the news. That ain't news, but that is. Right. Okay. There is actually a lot of news. The company's been doing a lot of little business with a lot of people. So if you want to catch up with all that, you can go dig up all that news. I'm looking at what's current right now. And I've actually gone back all the way here to August 26th. The company accelerates their United Arab Emirates growth strategy through expanded partnership with Unique Group. It was just a few days later that the company announced their first shipment of their WAM-Vs. That's that manless boat we were looking at for the United Arab Emirates. So they're on the ball, just like that. Then September 15th, the company announces a strategic partnership with Gradient Marine to enhance digital twin and simulation capabilities. Now, there's a lot of information in here, and it's a little tricky, but I think I got it. I think I understand it. I don't know why they make it sound so bloody difficult. I'm going to read that paragraph right there. For OPTT, Integrating digital twins into our engineering and customer workflows is a game changer. Not only does it enhance how we develop and test our own platforms, but we believe it will also give our customers a powerful capability to model and rehearse operations before ever putting assets in the water. This partnership aligns perfectly with our strategy to deliver intelligent maritime solutions that are resilient, cost-effective, and operationally proven. The partnership is expected to open new opportunities in defense, offshore wind, aquaculture, subsea infrastructure, and environmental monitoring, while also providing access to Gradient Marine's Department of Defense customer network. Now, what I do believe this is just a simulation on a computer. I just wish they'd have said it that way, but a very lifelike one. Twins. So it is exactly what would happen. This is what they do with quantum computing. They create twins and they can actually connect items no matter how far apart they are. So no matter what this one does, this one's doing the exact same thing at the same time. Exactly. So this twin stuff is some real vital information they've been coming up with. And this is what they're doing so that people can see how would this work if we were to do it. Well, let me show you with our simulator. Ta-da! Real hard to understand. Was there any other news there we need to take a look at? First quarter fiscal results. That came out 9/15. I have not dove into this. Backlog. Backlog was 15 million, which is 184% increase over the first quarter. So they've got a lot of people who want these. They can't keep up. That's the bottom line. Cash and operating expenses year over year increased. Revenues for the year decreased. All right, you're going to have to jump into the details here. There's a lot here, definitely about the business highlights. That's what you're going to want to read. Looks like they're spending more money. They're making less money, but they're growing, which is probably par for the course. New startup companies go through a lot of cash. They burn a lot of cash. And a lot of times they start doing so much business that they can't keep up. And that starts to hurt them. And they have to find ways to keep up with the business or they're going to lose business, which can then hurt their business ultimately in the long run. So right now, what I really think we need to see are some new facilities. We need to see somebody come in and not just build new facilities, buy facilities already built so that they can just come in there and start doing what it is they do. That's what I'm thinking we need to do right now. But as I said, I really, really like OPTT. I've liked it since I've seen it the first time. I've been talking about it for, seems like a couple years now. Probably has been. All right, let's go take a look now at ticker OPTT. Did I cover everything? I did, right? Let me see. Yeah, we covered everything. Oh my God, I never gave you the page. Son of a... Nobody told me? Oh, nobody told me. Son of a puppy. You know what? I can fix it, but by golly, that really angers me. Damn it. Ah! Okay, now they got that out of my system. Damn it. Damn it. Nobody told me. Nobody told me. All right, so you got to hear everything, and you got to see my beautiful face and my glasses and my hat. Son of a puppy. All right, so now we're jumping on over to here, folks. Son of a... That's embarrassing, and I hate to do shit like that. Makes me upset. All right, so let's get back with the game plan. This is OPTT, son of a... all right, going back a year, you can see how this really can screw you up. So what are we looking at here? Oh, that's not a bad chart. All right, over the last year, we've got a low here of about 12 cents. That hit us July of last year, 2024, when she had a big jump off of that low. Now, that's exciting. I like that, folks. Right there, that instant jump going into a super rip. She went from 12 cents here up to 56 cents. So you're looking at 400% run. The reason that's exciting to me, there are people that shop low bubbles out there. That's all they do. They look for 52-week lows, all-time lows. When they see an all-time low, a yearly low, they will go look at the fundamentals. If they like what they see, if the company looks undervalued, they'll buy that stock. Everybody will buy that stock and it will run hard. That's what we got there. A immediate bounce off of a low bubble and a hard run with a 200 squeeze, just turned up, just over the 50, to and through the 200. Ta-da! There you go. So this to me affirms that we have a company that has a lot of value built into it. So now I know that much because the low bubble jumped immediately. Now from that point, she got up onto the 200 here. Let's see when that was. That was back in November. So it was November is when she finally started to come alive, and she had a big jump there, folks. She went from 13 cents to $1.75. Wow. You're looking at 13, 14, 1,500%. I don't know. It's a big run there, folks. It's way over 1,000% run. She flew and then came down to our strong 250, right? The 200 haul and the 50, our 250. She bounced off of that. That was a nice bounce. We went from 50 cents up to $1. That was a 100% run. Then she crashed. When all of our MAs are rolling over, see that 20 coming down? Think of the 20 as a steering wheel for the price. She normally follows the 20. When the 20 starts showing inclinations of changing direction on your long charts, that's when the stock starts to run. When the 20 is just starting to turn up, that's when the price will start running. And it'll run hard as that 20 starts to fully turn up. Well, as this started to turn down, the price turned down and followed that 20 all the way down, got up underneath the 20 and then back up. And she's just been going sideways. We had a jump here, 50 cents to 90 cents, 85% jump, back down and flat. And right now she's not doing a whole lot. She's just sitting there waiting for something to happen. And I've got my Fibonacci there waiting for something to happen. Let's come on down to our 4 hour, not the 1 hour. So we were at $1.26 here. Big V jump. See that big V? And right there, when she got to the very top, right there, that's when she fell. Came all the way down to our low, bounced off of this low instantly, right? There's another instant jump. She went from 28 cents up to 50 cents, basically 100%. Not as big as that last one, but it was an instant jump. That's what we're looking for off of low bubbles. That tells you the company has value. Got up on top of this 200, bounce, bounce, riding that 200 up, gets up on this 200, bounce, 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 and now she's taking off. She's coming down, and now she's just laying there. But you can see she is fighting. She's working. She's trying to get over this 23% on the Fibonacci. Just hasn't had any success yet. Hourly chart, that's that bang on that 23%. Bam, bam. She just can't get over it. Now remember, these Fibonacci lines are not connected to historical price points. They're just magic numbers. They have gravitational pulls. I don't know how to explain it. They just work. Nobody can explain it. So we use these. I use these very, very often on big drops and big pops. Matter of fact, if I wanted, I could get rid of this one here, and I could put one on that drop right there. This one. It went from a high bubble to a low bubble. That's very impressive, right? In less than 24 hours, we hit two extremes here. So I could use that right there, and my price is going to respect those lines. I can get in and use these lines to trade. So you can see where she hits her head. Now we're up here. So this is what I do every single day, folks. Every single day over at Penny Boys, I find stocks that are hot, and I put these onto them. I put supports and resistances, Fibonacci's, so that you can find your trade during the day. And that's what I would like to do. See you join me over at Penny Boys every single day. That is really the point of these videos. Yes, we're talking about stocks, and I wish I'd talk about more of them. Look at that, 5:30. And how many stocks did we talk about? Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. That's not good. We used to do 8. I hope you're enjoying this, folks. I am trying to share a lot of information with you. I know I go off on tangents saying this and that. If that is a problem, tell me. I'll start focusing more in. I am here for you. I am talking about what you want to talk about. So if I do get off on a tangent, somebody let me know. And by all means, if I do something stupid like forget to bring that button up and I start talking to you, somebody scream at me. I've got another screen up here I can look at, and I can see if somebody's, John, you forgot to do something. I do that sometimes. I forget to hit buttons. Well, folks, I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm a little bummed that I didn't get to share OPTT's screen with you, but we did look at the chart. I'm going to be here every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to talk about the stocks you give me, and I'm going to try to stay on board with all that I'm doing. I am losing my voice very fast right now. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your time. Thanks for putting up with me. I'm not a pro at this. I make a lot of mistakes. I am here for you, though. So thank you. Thank you for being here for me. I'll talk to you next week, 4 o'clock, folks. Yeah. I'm going to do it. Home Alone. Oh, hell, I forgot to hit that button. I keep